We're gonna do an 8 to 10 minute recap on what exactly happened for these past 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since, and it's also in less than 2 weeks we're gonna have that really terrible update that YouTube's also trying to pass about AI and age verification. But we're not going to rant. I'm just gonna leave the facts down. So we're gonna start with a list. Alright, so editor me, you're probably going to bring up lots of words and you're probably going to make me read a lot of stuff on the internet that basically defines things like hey, search it up. I'm probably going to be searching up a lot today, so we'll be getting that exactly out of the way. Now, if you notice that there's people cutting grass at the current moment right nearby the door, that's really lovely timing. I really needed that. What I want to talk about is the recent footage about the US Special Ops coming up on Bernie Sanders' channel, talking about some of the most horrible, disgusting things I've seen in a while after a very long period of time. I've lived my 20 years on this planet Earth long enough to see all sorts of really beautiful things happen. I saw some really great things happen. I've seen some really terrible things happen. I think the very report thing that we need is some really transparent strat. We need some of that very transparent strat, some of that really good reporting. And recently we aren't getting enough of that very reporting. I'll be listing down a few things for you about the things I've seen happen across the past 2 weeks, and I will be taking a few cuts so in there to make my speech as fluid as possible. And if I've been mispronouncing a few words, I'm sorry. I'm trying to do this on an 8-10 minute time span with the limited amount of time that I have, because a lot of things are going on, and trust me when I say a lot is going on, a lot is going on. VSojo currently has collapsed, and Ozzy Osbourne has also passed away. Roblox has passed the connections update and has slowly started to look a lot more like it cares about its investors more than its own players. YouTube as a brand has also bended the knee to the Online Safety Act, or the Kids Online Safety Act, as of recently, and is currently trying to pass an AI update to its rules and trying to force people to use ID to verify themselves, because if YouTube bends down the knee to that sort of law, it will be then later passed to other social medias as well, because if YouTube is larger than TV itself, you will know where this goes next. It will just only go to those next social medias. Also, while Iron Mouse left VSojo and all sorts of VTubers left VSojo, we've also have been finding lots of crazy revealings about things that have been happening behind the scenes, as well as some other things happening behind the scenes in the government, currently United States. I'll be explaining exactly what that is. Recently, I've been looking into lots of the news, and I found some really crazy stuff pop up on the news, but also on channels with people who are really young trying to talk about the very issues about what is going on in the United States right now. People are mowing the grass again in the same exact spot. Let me continue. These people are seriously mowing right now as I'm speaking. They do it very periodically, not consistently. Alright, farewell. By the way, PBS NewsHour, rest in peace to PBS NewsHour. They're not officially being funded by federal government. They've been defunded recently by Donald Trump's recent issuing of laws or executive orders trying to defund news networks and very reliable news records. As we are speaking, there are more movements happening in Gaza and Palestine that I've yet to discuss. I wish I can discuss on this channel, but unfortunately YouTube would be trying to claim this video as harmful. So currently all I can say is that I hope for the best of you southern people in Gaza and Palestine, and I really don't care about your leaders or politics or anything that is so far considered in my mind. I don't consider left or right to be something that I really care about when it comes to war, and if you people really need the help, you need the help. But unfortunately I have some bad news for the people watching this video, knowing exactly what has been released. As I mentioned, a US Special Ops coming out recently with news about footage that's been released of what's actually going on with the humanitarian crisis around Palestine and Gaza. I mispronounced Gaza, my bad, I'm sorry. I need to also mention that the footage is available on Bernie Sanders' channel. I did repeat that on Sanders again, so you can remember. And if you enjoy videos like this, please like and subscribe, because currently right now social media is being censored, and while I still can, it would be best that you join my Discord server as a safe haven, because if this channel goes down with the news I'm about to bring, they will go down, and I really don't want that to happen. But if it really does, media will be censored. I'd rather have my videos still up but privated instead by YouTube's force. And AI that has been running wrong. Also, what I want to say is Grok has also been turned into a waifu if only you subscribe to their super subscription service model that Elon Musk has made, trying to persuade or turn the direction away from Epstein. Epstein files must be released, by the way, and I really want to see that happening, because we've been seeing lots of news about that going around. Because while Donald Trump's trying to distract people, trying to turn them away from the Epstein files, he's been getting getting more stranger and weirder about it. If you are a MAGA fan and you want to do something really great for this world, I think defending a pedophile is not something on the list to help the world with, right? So if you're supporting Donald Trump, at this point, clearly right now, I think you are supporting a straight up pedophile with concrete evidence that's been released recently. Donald Trump is considered to be a real pedophile. And if you're coming at me and trying to call me that stupid P-letter name one more time, by the way, to the people who've been trying to spread mass hysteria about that shit all over again, you're not going to win anything from that, because all I know is that I've been a really consistent content creator for a long time, longer than probably you've been even aware of the world itself. So I've been on this social media, by the way, 8th anniversary to Iron Mouse as well. I'm probably going to be cutting lots of corners, so if you want more context, just go to my Discord server. What I also want to note is that Donald Trump's also been leasing and trying to get governors and lawyers to basically bend the knee to also allow them to get very private information about ourselves in the government. They're trying to ask for intelligence information in the government currently right now that the Pentagon has, and Donald Trump is seeing at that. We need to make sure to repeal that. And credit card companies like Visa and MasterCard are also attacking art sites, creativity, media, and basically a freedom of expression as a whole right now, and are currently trying to gaslight the entire internet about their very, well, wrongdoings. And that's not exactly working because, well, we have the information here. If you want to talk longer about that, go to my Discord server down in the link in the description. And repeat, Discord server of mine's link down in the description. Please like the video because I get my video anywhere else. As always, happy 8th anniversary to Iron Mouse. And as well, it begins on all fronts. We're still going to talk about the YouTube update. The YouTube update using AI and also trying to limit people to use, forcibly use their license and ID number is really radical in itself. By the way, they're also trying to censor adult content as well. You know about adult content. I won't say the exact keyword for it, but you should know what I'm talking about. The censorship on the access to adult content, rather than, other than just like art sites and stuff. Did you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about like straight up IRL adult content, and that is currently also being attacked. The industry for that side of things is being currently attacked and censored as well. As we're speaking, they are trying to tackle those industries while also trying to tackle on creative media as a whole. If you want to talk longer about that, go to my Discord server, because unfortunately trying to cram this in 8-minute 10-minute video is ridiculously hard to do. Also, there's an attack and war against the internet itself, because Visa and MasterCard, along with Collective Shout, is trying to pull off these things, along with the UK passing the Online Safety Act, which is only to protect really fake children and not real children, because for some reason parents like those who are in the UK are some reason trying to pass the blame onto people instead, rather than taking the blame themselves. And unfortunately that is very common to do, because people really don't like to try to take the blame these days. They don't want to take the responsibility, so rather than taking responsibility, they'd rather pass laws that limit our very use of the internet, which is happening in less than 2 weeks, by the way. So by the time we hit around August 13 or something, if you notice that you're not able to access the internet like you normally would do, it's because the government passed a law under your nose and you weren't paying attention. So you might want to pay attention later. And YouTube's doubling down on this thing, by the way, by still bending the knee to all of these new laws that are being passed. And if we're going to talk about Visa and MasterCard, we cannot forget HR 987 is the very law to make sure, my editor and me might put this on the screen, make sure that banks and basically card payment processors is to basically stop payment processors and banks from overreaching their rule on certain types of media that we own ourselves as creators. Creators should be able to make stuff on the internet and sell it without feeling the need to hinder to their rules that are absolutely made up. Because say Vince and MasterCard could go and say, hey, your video game is colored to red and it sucks, so we think we're going to detach our payment processor from your game. Obviously that's really dumb and vague, but currently Visa and MasterCard are trying to make that a true thing. So other than stopping at games, they're also trying to make sure it hits art and music as a whole. Spotify funding war drone technology, you can look into that as well, and the bans on VPNs across countries, because if that starts to reach multiple countries, major countries, your internet's probably going to absolutely suck, and you're probably going to start caring. You're going to start caring. And also what I do notice is that people have so far recently started to care until the bitter end. They started to care until the bitter end. So what sucks is that on this channel, I've been a very high supporter of people acting on their own as early as possible, because if you have the time to do it, why not do it now? Why not act out now rather than watching it and seeing it end? Why not do something while you still can? Unfortunately, that's not how it went for the past 8 months. So right now, what I'm going to do is ask of you people right now, once again, please do something together, along with all the fellas that you know, those top fellas. Do something together to fix all the issues going on right now. I'm gonna be optimistic. It's gonna be creepy. Me being optimistic, I know. Me being happy, wow, crazy, I know. But right now the world really needs it, because if Steam bent the knee to the law that UK is trying to pass, they're going to be basically taken out of business, and you'll be removed of hundreds of thousands of different games. And if you want to see that happen, be my guest. All you have to do is do absolutely nothing and sit around like a duck watching TikToks and scrolling non-stop, achieving absolutely nothing. I'm sorry, I have to be very cruel and very forward. Spotify is funding Warzone, and the recent footage of a US Special Ops showing what's happening in Gaza Palestine is really unfortunate, because the very thing that Warzone technology is later going to be used in is on those very innocent people that have been routed like cows, just like what the Nazis did way back in the day in the 1930s. And you know what's really insane about that? I think what really made me tick off one last nerve of my body to the point where it almost made me cry is that it's the very United States soldiers, citizens in IDF. The very IDF is the very people rounding people up like cows in Palestine and Gaza. They're rounding up like cows on sanctuary sites to give them aid, and then shooting at them, throwing grenades into their heads and kicking them down, letting people trample over and starve to death in these crowds. And recently the footage has been released with no censor, so if you're somebody who's soft at heart and don't want to see something like that, I'd rather you don't watch that footage. If you're somebody who wants to see the truth and you just don't believe that I'm being honest right now, I think what is so ironic is that the very Americans strived to not be something like what the Nazis were back then, and now unfortunately over 50% of our country are now trying to strive to be Nazis, literally converting to the very thing that they despised, we despised in very history. In the very history of the United States, we very despised what Germany did. They paid reparations. We did treat them like morons way back then. But this is the modern era. We're in 2025, and there's footage of Americans pushing and bullying people from another country. No, not foreign people pushing Americans around. Very Americans pushing around people like cattle, putting them in cages and camps in war zones, and then shoving around and hitting them with guns. Does that not look very familiar to you? Does that spark something in your head for you to remember? Do you remember what history class taught you? Unfortunately, a very great traditional bridge to the defunding of education and science as a whole, which Donald Trump is attacking. He was trying to destroy history as we are speaking, and we have young leaders in their 20s trying to do the job of government. We have Mr. Beast coming out with Team Water, another great transition to the next topic about Team Water, doing what governments can. What is wrong with you people? Why are you trying to make sense and trying to justify a genocide? Slow down for a bit. If you're a proud Republican, are you a Republican for the people, or are you a Republican for what you think is happening over there in Gaza? You need to step down. You're an absolute disgrace. And with all the things that are going on with the labels and the stop killing games and all that shit that's going on, you can still try to make a difference. But what I'm fearing right now is that currently in this world, and I try to make this video as short as possible, but it's impossible. In current war right now, everything is going to waste. Visa, MasterCard, and Spotify is teaming up together. But the Shout is in this. Donald Trump is in this. We have coin, crypto, software games being released left and right, financially manipulating the market as we're speaking, while people are roading in people like cattle in war zones underneath the very American title, shedding blood on our own name. And if I were to be dragged into a draft, I'm not going into a war just to hurdle people in like cows and then just to hit them and throw grenades at their head. That is not what I'm going to be dragged into World War III for. If World War III happens, that's exactly what we're going to be dragged into. Being that a great transition is Hegseth is being the leader, the main military command, head of command that leads this very military that led people so far to thousands of casualties into multiple minor wars and major wars that we're seeing right now as of currently. And don't you think that is far enough? This is my call out to the channel. If anybody even sees this video, just because I'm a role as content creator doesn't mean I don't care about what's going on in the world. Just because I'm not financially stable doesn't mean I shouldn't care about what is going on in the world. I can at least look into. I'm studied and I'm informed about it. Money did not make me at all, and it did not make what I knew right now. I'm telling you information I got that I paid $0 for. The only thing I had to did was put and give at least half an hour, 1 hour of a day of my time to look into what's going on with the world. If you're just scared and you're putting up any sort of excuse and lifting your fists against your very own family, trying to shut them up about these very topics, you're doing a misdeed for this entire global world. You're doing a misdeed to everybody that you put your trust in. Stop hiding your head underneath your hood. Stop pampering away and throwing your fists up when somebody gets real. Stop running away from the facts. Stop being vague. Stop denying questions. Answer the questions. Figure it out. If it is not on your own, figure it out with your friends. Get them involved in the conversation. That is your goddamn job as a human, protecting the democratic process. It is not about democracy and Republican or Democratic or Republic or Independent. This is just genuine morality. And that's what I'm leaving this video on. What happened to rational discussion? What is this? We aren't Nazis. I'm getting sick and tired of people hiding their heads on below, hoping with everything by going on the internet, swiping their life away. I think that's become way too true now. I also have to say, stay safe out there, be skeptical, do your research, whatever you say about me is what you say about society, and be a great person, do your best, and show people the truth, because right now we need that truth, and we need lots of very informed people. Stay safe out there, be very careful about what you believe in, and as always, that'll be it.